ARTBAT is one of the main acts of melodic techno, and today we're doing a deep dive into their songs to discover 6 things that they do in their songs that make it so amazing. And I spend a lot of time making sure that these are elements that you can apply to your own songs, and I'm sure that you don't want to miss out on this kind of content. But before we begin, which is your favorite song from ARTBAT? Let me know over here in the comments below, and let's get started with this video. Let's go. What I love about ARTBAT is that they have super amazing melodic leads. Different than Anima that has really aggressive and the sound design is really intense in their leads, ARTBAT's leads are not so sound design intense, but at the same time they're super melodic, sometimes even leaning a little bit to dark progressive house. Listen for example to their remix of All That Matters by Kosh. And you can hear the same kind of melodic pattern for the leads in the song called For a Feeling. But my favorite kind of lead from ARTBAT is their lead that they did in the song called It's Ours with David Guetta that you can listen over here. This is a chord-based lead, as you can see it over here in the MIDI. But you can also do some ARP-based leads, as you can see in the song called Hypercolor. Based on all these leads, there are a couple of things that we can learn from ARTBAT's lead that you can apply in your own tracks. First, the sound design of these leads is not super complex, as you can see in these tutorials over here. And essentially, even though they're not complex, they're really nice to listen to and provoke that ravey kind of feeling in the sound that it's really nice. Second, their leads don't only consist of melodies, but they also consist of chord progressions and also ARP progressions. And this is really nice to create variety in your songs. You can see these different kinds of leads discussed in this video over here, but this is really nice to create variation among your songs, and I definitely recommend you doing in your own songs as well. Third, their leads have a lot of portamento or a glide, and essentially they swell a lot into the other notes, as you can listen in the song called Best of Me. And you can listen that the notes don't play ba-da-da-da-da, they play wa-da-wa-da-da, they kind of swell into the other note. And the fourth thing that is really nice about this is that sometimes in addition to these bass leads, they also have some melodic leads, as you can listen in the drop 2 of the same song. And by doing these different kinds of leads, they add a lot of euphoria into the song, which is really nice, and that's how they became so big in festivals as well. The fifth thing that you can learn from this is that in all the songs, none of them have the classic Anima shot. So that's something that you can avoid as well, and sometimes doing these kind of melodic leads is a way to stand out from always doing the same ba-da-bum-bum-bum-bum. In any case, ARTBAT stands out from melodic techno because their songs are really melodic and really euphoric at the same time, almost trancey in a way, and that's the way that they have differentiated themselves from what everyone is doing as well. But that's not all what makes ARTBAT's songs so great, and that takes us to our second point in this video. In addition to the amazing leads that ARTBAT have in their songs, they also have a really prominent low end in the song, and that helps a lot by adding energy and also excitement to the song that contributes to make that ravey, aggressive vibe that they have in their songs. When talking about bass lines, whether they're using a plucky bass like in the song called Return to OZ, or when they're using rolling basses as in the song called Hypercolor, ARTBAT is always making something to make their basses more prominent and also more dynamic in the song. First, when talking about rolling basses, as you can see over here in the MIDI, you can see that they're doing bass jumps in their progression, and that helps by creating some movement in the bass line. For example, if they didn't have the bass jumps, it would sound like this. But with the bass jumps, it sounds like this. And this is the first step to make your basses a bit more dynamic, especially when using rolling basses. The second thing that you can do to make your basses more dynamic is add a bit of change in the notes that you're playing. So essentially, instead of just playing the root note, you can play other progressions as well, as it happens in the second drop of Hypercolor. Instead of just playing the root note that would be this note over here, they're playing a progression and they're varying the bass jumps along with everything. And that helps by making the song a bit more dynamic. The third thing that they're doing to make their songs more powerful in the low end is having a really prominent kick and bass lines in their progression. If you listen again to Return to OZ while looking at a spectrum, you can see that the low end is really powerful and really prominent in the low end, and that's something that you can learn how to do by checking over here in the description our low end mixing guide that you can get for free on our website, so you can start making powerful bass lines as well to your songs. But that's not all what makes ARTBAT songs so big and their drops so huge, and that takes us to our third point in this video. ARTBAT songs are famous from suddenly becoming really chill and then really aggressive out of nowhere. And this is really awesome because it contributes to creating a lot of contrast and contributes to making the drops even bigger than what they are. For example, listen to the middle of the drop 1 of the song called Flame. Over here, the song is already excited. You have a lot of kick, a lot of bass, some vocals, some ear candy, some percussions, but then everything just goes into a bridge and all the exciting elements almost completely fade, as you can listen over here. And then there's almost like a complete stop in the song, but then out of nowhere, the drop just hits you in the face with a lot of energy, as you can listen over here. Can you imagine listening to this kind of energy from chill to aggressive in a festival? It would just sound really amazing. Doing these kind of pauses really help club songs to go from really aggressive moments to really calm moments, so you can cool down your listener and also make your drop even bigger when the excitement comes back into the song. And that's something that ARTBAT does a lot in their breaks. If you listen over here, for example, you're gonna see that normally they build a lot of excitement in the break, and then out of a sudden everything just stops, as you can listen over here. And after everything stops, essentially they either add a vocal or a solo lead in the song to really make the energy over there. And then they rise everything with risers, snare rolls, as you've just seen in the video about breakdowns. And then sometimes they stop everything again, as you can listen again in the song called Age of Love. Again, creating a lot of excitement and a lot of tension, but then everything just stops again. And then out of nowhere, the drop just comes and hits you in the face, as you can listen over here.
Dance with me, move your body, your legs and feet.
This contrast contributes to making the drops really aggressive because they go from really chill, simple moments to really aggressive moments, and that difference or the contrast is what makes the drops become even bigger. So if you're considering making club tracks, don't forget to use these pauses during your songs because they help a lot to chill down your listener, but also come really aggressively when you come back with all the energy of your song. But that's not all what makes ARTBAT's tracks so energetic. ARTBAT's percussions are not so complex, but they're super important to add more energy to the songs. Normally, they all have some kind of 16th hat, as you can listen in the song called ARTBAT, or in the song called Age of Love. So after choosing your powerful kick, as you can listen over here, you're gonna choose a 16th note, playing a hat, and you can do the same thing sometimes using a diva, as you can listen over here, by creating a noise hat. And that's something that you can do with diva just by automating the decay over here and using just a noise filter. Now, in addition to the hats that they use, they also add a lot of snares or claps into their songs, as you can listen in the song called Breathe In. So now, in addition to the percussion that you already have, you're gonna add a powerful clap or a powerful snare. And after that, you're gonna add also a main hat in your song, as you can listen in the song called It's Ours. And if you want to do the same thing in Ableton, if we look over here with the stuff that we already have, you're gonna add an open hat, or sometimes even a ride. And this contributes to make your percussions really aggressive and really intense in your songs. But since there aren't many elements, you're gonna have to do a lot of coming and going with your elements. Listen how in the song called Return to OZ, he starts the song with a lot of percussions, then they do a bridge in the song, as you can listen over here. And after the bridge, they completely suck up all the energy by adding a lot of risers. And when you go to the second part of the drop one, all the percussions are gone, and they essentially later rebuild the percussions in the second part of the drop too. And this kind of variation in your song is really helpful to make your songs less static and essentially less boring. And by doing these variations, you create movement in your percussion. And not only this, but choosing the right kind of percussions is also key to convey that aggressiveness that you want to convey in a really aggressive club song. Now, there's one element that I really like in ARTBAT's tracks, and that are the vocals of their tracks. ARTBAT songs are full of vocals. And whether they're using an ethnic kind of vocal, as you can listen in the song called Tibet, or even a full vocal in the middle of the drop, as in the song called Hypercolor. These vocals really help the song because they kind of make the song a little bit softer, and that's really nice for a really aggressive songs that they already are. But sometimes, even when the vocals are in the middle of a really peaceful kind of breakdown, as you can listen in the song called All That Matters. Or just when they're using ad-libs with just some hints of vocals, as in the song called Flame. These vocals contribute a lot to ARTBAT songs, and there are three things that I want to talk about them. First, along with a really intense kind of vibe, the vocals serve as the lead of the song. And not only this, but it makes the song singable in a way, which helps making the song a bit more memorable. Second, it helps to keep the attention of the listener focused on the vocal. And by doing this, you don't have to overstuff your song with elements to make it interesting, and that helps a lot when you want to fade everything down to create contrast and come with a really powerful drop, as they do a lot in their songs. Third, they add a really nice melodic touch in their songs, and that's what I love about ARTBAT. Different than Anima, which is also really cool, but they're really digital and harsh. But now in ARTBAT, they're really soft and calm, and that helps the aggressive songs become a little bit calmer and a little bit more relatable as well. And then you can ask me, Leo, vocals are really expensive. How do I get them? Well, you don't have to really buy vocals to work with vocals, and that takes us to our next point of this video. ARTBAT is not only famous for their original songs, but also for their remixes. And a lot of artists just neglect working with remixes, but you can draw a lot of things by just doing remixes of original songs. First, if you don't have a vocal, working on a remix can help you by giving you this vocal, and instead of paying for it, you're gonna just work with it, and this sometimes help your pockets a lot more. Listen, for example, to the vocal that ARTBAT got from Monolink on Return to OZ.
Last one on, couldn't speak, fell off, and now she just...
Second, this song is originally from Monolink, and Monolink is a famous and big artist. And when you do a remix for a big artist, you're not only gonna benefit from reaching a bigger audience, but you're also gonna benefit from reaching a different audience from the original artist. And that's another huge benefit from working on a remix. And third, and most importantly, this song, Return to OZ, was signed by Embassy One, which is owned by Sony Music, which is Monolink's label. And when you deliver a huge hit like this one to a big label, my friend, fasten your seatbelt because you might be in for a big ride. Essentially, this could be a way for you to skip the demo submission process of a big label. You're still gonna have to be accepted, but you're not gonna have to deal with the pains of submitting your songs and not having your songs heard. And I'm sure you've already gone through this in your life. And essentially, that's why making remixes can help you a lot. It can help you by expanding your reach, expanding to a different audience, working with a vocal, and also reaching another label as well. However, if you now want to know how to make more aggressive kind of melodic techno, you can see this video over here in the top right corner where I cover Anima. Or if you want to see how dark progressive house stands by, which is a little bit more melodic, you can see this video over here which covers Yodo, and it's a really amazing video as well. I hope you liked the video, and I hope to see you soon in the next Abstrakt video next week. Ciao!